pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Here.
Councilmember Burns. Councilmember Radner.
Here.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. We can start. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda are routine items presented without discussion. Any council member can ask to have one dropped and discussed separately. Item 5A, regular council meeting minutes of May 16th, 2022. B, Recycling and Environmental Conservation Commission meeting minutes of March 17th. C, Corridor Improvement Authority Board meeting minutes of April 21st. D, Beautification Advisory Commission meeting minutes of April 19th. E, payment request for OHM advisors in the total amount of $30,998.25. F, final payment application number 5 for the 2020 miscellaneous concrete project M714. G, payment application number 1 for the 2021 sidewalk replacement project M713. H, payment application number 2 and change order number 1 for the 2022 joint and crack ceiling project M734. I, payment application number 3 for the 2021 sewer and catch basin cleaning and TV inspection project M728. J, payment of invoice from Smith Group for Parks and Recreation Master Plan update and comprehensive asset management contract. K, licenses, new and renewals submitted for June 7th. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. I don't see a visiting elected official, but we do have a special recognition presentation about the farmers market. Is that Mary Lou? No. Aha. Director Lori Stasiak, thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Good evening, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and City Manager Tungate. We're very excited to be here tonight to provide you with a short presentation on the Oak Park Farmers Market. You'll be hearing from Laura Garment, who is the Population Health Strategy Lead from Humana, and our Recreation Coordinator, Marilee Roseman, who is also our Certified Market Master. This market started over 5 years ago as an idea of how to bring fresh Michigan produce and products to Oak Park. It started with the building of a relationship first with Laura and then with Humana to bring it to reality. This market aligned with the mission of both organizations and is a great example of a community partnership that helped develop healthy opportunities and resources for our residents. So if you haven't had a chance to visit our market, I hope this presentation will give you a little incentive to come and see for yourself a wide variety of the Michigan products and produce that make our farmers market such a benefit for our residents. And City Council and City Manager, we've included at your seat a package of information. So you've got the slides for tonight's PowerPoint presentation, as well as some information that's inside regarding some of our programs that will be featured at our farmers market this summer. So, Laura?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I want to start by sharing a little bit about what Humana is, because I know we've been partnering with the city for 5 years, but never with a full background shared. So it is a health insurance company based out of Louisville. We have almost 2 million Medicare Advantage members and commercial nationwide. So here in Michigan, we have 320,000 members. A bulk of them are in the Tri-County area of Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb. And actually, within Oakland County, our highest amount of members actually reside in Oak Park. And so we definitely contribute that to our partnership that we've formed with you over the years. And so why do we work on a farmer's market? So we have a population health bold goal, and it focuses on addressing social determinants of health, both for our members and the communities at large. We pay special attention to food insecurity and social connection with the intent of improving holistic health and the quality of life. Our bold goal communities are scattered throughout the United States, and I put them up here. You can see Detroit is highlighted, and when we say Detroit, we mean Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. So that's where we focus our social determinant of health work. Social determinants of health go beyond just what we think of when we think of health and wellness, diabetes, blood pressure, things like that, but there's another component to it. And the social determinants of health are your economic stability, your total health care, where you live, your education, and your social and community context. So we provide health insurance, but we also focus on those social determinants of health. And how we get that data is we partner with health departments, so Oakland County, Wayne County, Macomb County. We get claim information. We survey our members with the CDC Healthy Days survey, so we get a whole picture of what the community and our members really need. And what we found from that information is the top two drivers of our social determinant of health and total wellness are food insecurity and social isolation. And those two factors have just increased the need since COVID. So we have about 2.4 million adults in Michigan aged 60 and over, representing a quarter of the population. And as of 2020, nearly 13% of this population faced food insecurity. That's not counting families and children, which are also have risen since COVID. Additionally, more than 40% of seniors reported regularly experiencing loneliness, and social isolation in itself can complicate health care and negatively impact physical health and well-being. So we took those two things, food insecurity and social isolation, and I'd already had the privilege of knowing Marilee from previous work we had done together, and she said, hey, I have an idea, let's start a farmer's market. And I said, sure. So we started it in 2018, and we kind of came together to bring in different resources, but that being said, none of it would be possible without Marilee. And as Lori mentioned, the 5th year of the market does start, excuse that typo on my behalf, July 6th, it's a Wednesday, 2022. So I'm gonna let Marilee share a little bit more about the market since she runs it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. So as she said, this is our 5th year, and we're very proud and one of the smaller markets in the area that do accept all forms of food assistance. So that goes for your bridge card, double up food bucks, WIC coupons, senior project fresh. We also have our special market days where Healthy Oakland partnerships come in with extra $5 coupons for those special market days. We also came up with, during COVID, a program called The Power of Produce. We actually pay children and seniors to come to the market. And in your packet, you will see that. We have really done leaps and bounds by this. You'll see some numbers here at the bottom. When we started this, you can read what it says there. However, in 2019, total food assistance that we gave out, if you combine senior and family market days, WIC, Senior Project Fresh, as well as SNAP and Double Up, in 2019, we did about $3,600 of what we distributed. In 2020, height of COVID, we did about $4,900. Last year, we did just shy of $14,000 in food assistance. So that tells you we really do have a need in this area. And I'm very proud that we accept all of those food initiatives. We have a lot of partners in the market, past and present. You can see that whole list there. We are very, very grateful for them. Without their not only financial support, but also their in-kind support, a lot of this would not be taking place. We have now also a wonderful working relationship with the Oak Park High School, which has been fabulous. They've been very good to us. We are looking towards the future to kind of continue to use part of their property, unless we decided to go in a different way down the future. But it has been very positive, it's been very supportive, and we are very grateful for the use of their property on that. They actually paid for the cut-throughs. We have some boulevards over there that was very difficult for the seniors to get up and around, and also families with strollers. So they paid for the, I call them cut-throughs, the walkways that go through the boulevard. So that was very gracious on their part. And before we get to the vendors, because there's a slide I missed, I just want to tell you, in that bag that you have, we have some great programs that we started here at the market. So number one, we have what I call it the frequent flyer card. It's your punch card you're going to see in there. And everybody comes to that tent first to get that card punched because they get a freebie. I call it Market Bling. So every time they come to the market, they get some useful tool. We also have the Power of Produce has gone to a Power of Produce and Play. We are now instituting physical fitness with this program. So you will see the passport in there. The passport is just what it says. It's a passport. It's a 7-week program. The kids get it. They do their homework on week 1. They come back. They get it stamped with our cute little acorn stamper, and they get a $3 coin and a brand new book. You have examples of all the books for 7 weeks in your packet. The book correlates with the theme, which correlates with the homework. And we've always maxed out on 75 to 85 children, we give out every year about $1,500 or more, just to the kids. The senior track has the card in there as well. They have their homework, all right? They come back, they give me their homework or their recipes. They get a $3 coin. Their physical fitness incentive is a walking program. So we have built in a walking program with Humana and Beaumont, walk with the doc, so on and so forth. Go out on your own. You don't have to go every day. Bring it back. You're going to get an extra $3. So seniors can earn $6 a week for the 7 weeks to the tune of, what do I have here? It's about $3,100. That program is funded over and above with Humana, but also Beaumont. That's a financial contribution from Beaumont for that program. We were very lucky, on recommendation, to actually work into a contract with Oakland University for their prescription for health program. We are one of only 2 markets in the area that are participating in this. There's all kinds of documentation in that bag for you, but we are very, very pleased. They have the opportunity to provide anywhere between 50 and 65 individuals or families with much needed food vouchers as well. They do an education session online. They are enrolled. They can spend that money for 6 months either at our market, or they've also, I referred them to Glory Market, and then I believe Hollywood Market are the closest markets that would accept those vouchers. So we are very, very indebted to them for partnering with us through the university. A couple make mentions you'll hear about in the future is our special market days. That will be our family market day where the WIC recipients, over 300 plus families, come on that special day to get their extra coupon book of, I believe it's $26 or $30 to spend on that day. Plus we have an additional 40 resource organizations that I provide a tent for. So it's an outreach program for any of those participants. That would be July 27th. The senior market day is going to be in August. It's patterned the same way. They get their senior project fresh coupons. And again, there'll be another 40 by 40 tent that has additional resources for our senior citizens and their caregivers that they can make use of. Our vendors, we are very, very fortunate to get most of our vendors back. 2 had to drop out because they had prior commitments, but then we gained an extra 5. This is last year's lineup. I am happy to say that Ben has updated our website. It's awesome. So all the new vendors are on there. The rat cards are there. The marketing materials are out. We have a wide variety of produce and added value vendors, and we're very, very pleased. And we have, it's probably about a third of them are from Oak Park. And that's kind of it. Getting back to the social isolation that she was talking about. One of the good things about coming to the market, as I know many of you have, we have live music every day. We have a seating area for 20 to 30 people, so they can come, meet up with friends, meet new friends, sit and enjoy it, get out, listen to music, just be outside. I can't tell you how much they look forward to coming to that, just to be there, just to see folks. So I thank you very much for your time.
This sounds like a state-of-the-art program that could be duplicated in other cities. This sounds incredible, detailed. You don't miss a trick. Bravo. We have no public hearing tonight, no special communications. Brings us down to item 10, special licenses. 10A, request for special event license and waiver of fee submitted by Samuel Pollock, 24040 Geneva, for the East Oak Park Block Club Neighborhood Party to be held in Bess Park on July 23rd, 2022. Is there a motion to approve this special event?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Just for those here, if it is a business, there is a fee. If it is a nonprofit, we waive the fee for block clubs and city commissions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 10B, request for special event license and waiver of fee submitted by First Baptist Church of Oak Park, 24201 Coolidge Highway, for a community outreach event to be held July 9th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Again, the church is a nonprofit, so that we do not collect the fee. Item 11, accounting reports. We need approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Howard L. Schiffman, P.C., for legal services retainer for July 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2022, in the total amount of $18,000. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion approved. There are no bids on this agenda. Item 13 is ordinances. 13A, first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 82, Utilities of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by amending Section 82-311 thereof. First, we need a motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Was that Whitehead? Radner, thank you. Who can speak about this?
I can.
Okay.
Or our finance director or our water supervisor is here as well.
Hopefully
I
not
can.
all three of you, though.
Hopefully not all three at the same time.
Good
Why don't
evening,
we ask our water
council,
supervisor?
city manager, mayor. Yeah, so our summary based on the first reading amending the utility ordinance, chapter 82, updating the ordinance to refer to the annual fee schedule for all rates and charges, and also updating basis of charges to reflect new billing methods. So pretty much we're taking fees out of the city ordinance, and now they're all going to be placed in the annual fee schedule moving forward.
Okay. And then this reflects the increase in charges that we're getting when we pay for the water.
That's correct.
And we get the water from Great Lakes Water Authority, and they raise the rates up to 4% a year?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Any questions about the amended ordinance? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 13B, first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 2, zoning districts, and Article 2, approval procedures of Appendix A, zoning code of ordinances of the City of Oak Park by amending Article 2, Division 3, Article 2, Division 4, Article 5, Division 3 thereof. First, a motion to approve the first reading. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Who can speak to this? Aha. Director Maroney is ready.
Good evening. This is something that we did discuss on an informal basis with City Council several months ago to see if it was something that you would like to see move forward. And what it is that it's an amendment to our ordinances to allow for liquor licenses as an accessory use as opposed to just restaurants with a liquor license. That will allow us to attract other businesses that we haven't been able to attract that use liquor as part of their business plan, such as movie theaters, comedy clubs, some markets nowadays. There's various other uses that we have not been able to attract because of the way our liquor license ordinance was written. So this amends that to allow it as an accessory use to any other type of use. And the Planning Commission approved it at their their May Planning Commission meeting and recommend to City Council to do the same.
Okay. Are there questions about this change?
Just a comment.
Yes.
As I understand it, Public Safety indicated that they're not concerned about this. Obviously, they're not, prophetic or in any way, but they do not seem at all concerned about
No.
that this is going to attract all kinds of criminal activity or anything like that.
No, they do not.
Okay, but it will attract businesses, so.
It
I
will.
like it.
Right.
Nice work, thank you.
I think that we've used this since the beginning to attract businesses, and that's why we have 5 restaurants, soon to be more, on 11 Mile Road, and that's why Oak Park is experiencing the momentum that we're noticing around. None of the doom has come to pass, and we're just having a lovely time enjoying the new energy. So there is any further questions about this amendment or comments? No. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Passed unanimously. Thank you. We're very excited about all the new businesses that are coming to Oak Park that are so positive. Just delighted. We are down to item 15, City Manager Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Before I get to 15A, and I'm going to have Deputy City Manager Crystal Van Vleck join me at the podium, I would like to make an announcement, and I would like to ask the public's assistance. We cannot open our municipal pool on time. And the reason we can't open our pool is because we cannot find lifeguards and we cannot find a pool manager. And as such, we are off to delay the opening of our pool till at least June 25th, which would be 2 weeks or so behind schedule, unfortunately. In addition,
a lot of cities are having the same problem, a lot of pools.
absolutely, it's a national, there's our Recreation Director, Lori Stasiak, has mentioned this many times, but it's a national issue. It's going on around the country, but here in Oak Park, we're better than that, so we need your help, and we can do it. I would like to, before we get to yours to stay there, I would like to also ask our Director of the Department of Public Works, Dave DeCoster, to come up to the podium. I know so many of you, some of you may be here regarding trash pickup. What a mess. So, Dave, could you give us a brief summary on where things stand? We had a big meeting yesterday with GFL and SACRA, but can you give us an update on where things stand?
Sure. Recycling in some areas of trash. So they're working their hardest. I've stopped making excuses for them. We just want things to get better as well. So we're not making excuses for them. We're working with them. We are determined to make things better. So like I said, the city manager met with them yesterday. We met with them, sat down. We do think we have a game plan moving forward, and we're going to release details on that probably in the next week or so. but we're still working out some kinks. So again, I apologize for the service to the residents, but we are working on the issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So hopefully that helps. Again, just to reiterate, we expect better from our vendors, and it's unacceptable. I can't call on you yet. We're going to have public comment in a little bit, but, okay. So that being said, council members, I'm going to move on to 15A. Deputy City Manager Van Butt, please.
Good evening. I have a little bit better news. Tonight, we're asking for you to support this resolution in support of accepting a grant from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Land and Water Conservation Fund. It's a mouthful. The city applied for this and was awarded a grant for the 9 Mile Connector Park from the DNR in 2020. We actually applied for it before the pandemic in 2019. The grant is in the amount of $100,000 and requires a 50-50 match from the city. Due to the pandemic, we experienced a delay in receiving our project agreement from the DNR, which has caused a delay in the construction of the connector park. So it was our intent when we applied for that grant that the linear park and the connector park would be done together, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. We have finally received the project agreement, and with the acceptance of the grant, the city can now work on completing this phase of improvements to the 9 Mile corridor. Funding is available for the connector park in the Public Improvement Fund. Additionally, we are actively seeking funding from outside resources, and this funding also includes a $45,000 grant that we received from the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan, Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation Fund for the connector park. It's recommended that City Council approve a resolution in support of accepting this grant.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead, is there a second? Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This is very exciting. When I came in 2011, we were receiving 0 grants. And now we have all kinds of grants. It's very convoluted process to apply for these grants and to know how to do it and to put in all the detail and to come up with the ideas. And our staff has been brilliant on this, and that's why we are booming as far as parks go. Couldn't be more excited to have this happening in our city on 9 Mile Road, connecting the new park to the neighborhood behind. And everybody, of course, but particularly the neighbors that live behind the park.
Mayor McClellan, I have a question.
Question?
So the funding that we got from the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, or from the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan, that $45,000, is that going to be part of the $100,000 match?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then the city has to come up with $55,000.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we applied for the grant in 2019, the estimate for the park was at $200,000, so there was 100 and 100. At this point in time, we're waiting for an updated quote, and costs have increased across the board largely. So it probably will be more than $55,000 on the city's part, but we're not exactly sure where it will land. But fortunately, the grant from the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation helps us to kind of take up the excess amount that these things will probably cost now. I think we saw there was going to be a 12% increase in the amenities that we purchased for the linear park, and we purchased those just in time. So we're not sure where those increases stand now.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Exciting. Roll call vote then, please.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
unanimously, very excited to pass this one. 15B.
I'm going to take this one, council members. We have received a request to raise a flag in accordance with our policy with one exception, and that would be that you agree to waive the 30-day prior to requested flying date requirement. This is the pride flag in honor of June as Pride Month. And this is something, I think this would be the third year that we have done that.
Third year, right. Okay, is there a motion to pass this request, including waiving the 30-day requirement?
So moved.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Why were they late?
Say it again.
Do we know why they were late? I remember
Not
when
sure.
we
I think
first-
somebody thought that somebody else had requested it and then asked the state representative if she would help because the request was not put in a timely manner. But I think this would be our third year doing this.
Yeah, I remember the first year we did it, we had to waive it because there was no policy in place at the time. And we voted, I remember the vote was, but we did ultimately approve it. And we approved waiving the 30 days as well. Every time we extend any sort of courtesy, we have to be cognizant of the fact that we have created a precedent for that courtesy. Originally, when we said, okay, the policy didn't exist at the time, that's obviously a good reason to do it. Now, it's just that somebody forgot. That means that if sometime in the future somebody comes with another flag and they have this excuse, there is now a precedent for us to allow it under the same circumstances. I'm going to vote for it, but I just want to make sure we're all understanding that we are creating a precedent tonight, and we need to be cognizant of that moving forward.
Unexpected, what do you call those, results? Things that happen unexpected that you don't think that you're voting for. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, 15C, I would like to ask Finance Director Sandra Crawford to join me at the podium, please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Manager Tungate. Before you is the third quarter for the current fiscal year that we're in, 21-22 investment report. The attached report details the cash and investments citywide for all funds held by the city at March 31st of 22. The third quarter investment report shows the total citywide cash and investments of $33,417,180, which is the market value, including the cash in the operating account of $1,134,204, excluding outstanding checks and other adjustments. Short-term investments in the Oakland County investment pool of $19,937,338 and a money market of $17,540 and commercial paper of $7,978,744 and long-term investments totaling $4,349,354. He has maximized investment returns on short-term cash by utilizing the Oakland County investment pool and minimizing the amount maintained in the checking account on daily depositories. During the past quarter, interest rates rose very quickly and are projected to continue to rise significantly to offset the very high inflation rate. The result of the rate increase is twofold. The interest rates on new investments are up more than 1% to 2% over the previous quarter, helping future returns market adjustment. If the Feds continue to raise rates several times in the near term, as they have promised, the city can expect to see increased real rates of returns offset by unrealized losses on current long-term investments until interest rates stabilize.
Okay, question from City Manager Tungate.
Director Crawford, I just want to clarify one thing in here, and I know you and I have talked about this. I wanted you to say this to them, but you know, I think everyone understands, you know, the situation going on in the investment community, at least. The Oakland County investment pool, are we able to traverse that in terms of going back and forth in and out of that?
Oh, yes,
penalties?
absolutely, absolutely. We can, that is very short term, and we can, you know, if we need to pull, if something happened where we needed to get access to the money right away, it's just sending, you know, informing them, and then we can get it next day. So, yeah.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Are there any penalties for moving the funds around like that, or?
No, not at all, not at all.
Unprecedented times we find
Yes, it
ourselves
is.
in.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and then you don't need a vote?
No, just to receive it, I believe, correctly.
Okay.
We just accept and file this report.
Okay, 15D, Director Crawford as well?
Yes. 15D is the quarterly budget to actual report. Again, this report is as of the activity through March 31st, 2022. And generally, the third quarter revenues and expenditures should represent 75% of the annual budget. The revenues, the total revenues for the third quarter, approximately $20.4 million, represents approximately 86% of the annual amended budget. Overall, the revenues are on track with the budget, with the following items of note. The property tax revenue. So the property tax revenue, as of the end of the third quarter, 96% of the taxes that were billed have been paid. And so the property taxes revenue is primarily the reason that the overall revenues are at 86% to date versus the 75% being the third quarter of the budget. Also, the state sharing revenue, the third quarter report reflects the payments that we received as of August 31st and also part of the June 30th, 2021 revenues. The city will receive the remaining reports on April 30th, June 30th, and then the August 31st payment relates to the current fiscal year. Our estimated annual revenue include in the budget totals $3,744,122. Also, fines and forfeitures we received from the 45th District Court is budgeted for $1.3 million, to which $832,820 or 64% has been received. Overall, the court revenues continue to be less than prior years and less than budget due to the slow rebound from COVID-19 and reduces the reduction of number of tickets written. The court has done a good job in reducing their cost to offset some of the loss of that revenue. The finance will continue to monitor the court revenue and expenditure budgets and propose amendments as necessary. Federal grant revenues represents the balance of the FEMA Federal CARES funds and ARPA federal funds totaling $1,484,571 that passed through the State of Michigan Department of Treasury to us. 100% of the fiscal year 22 funds have been amended and has been received as of March 31st, 2022. The expenditures represent approximately $18.9 million and is about 77% of the annual budget. Overall department expenditure budgets are on track with the following items of note. And this is, again, departments that are over the 75%. So we have the Department of Public Works Admin Department is about 80% of the amended budget due to the increased costs in self-insured health insurance. A budget amendment will be presented during the fourth quarter to address the cost increases. The K-9 and Public Safety Departments are at 83% and 85% respectively of their amended budget, primarily due to about 100% of the annual defined benefit pension contribution has been made during the first 9 months of the fiscal year. The Finance and Admin Service Department is slightly over budget. Approximately 83% of the annual defined benefit pension contributions have been made through the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year. But overall, the contribution will be on budget as contributions will be adjusted during the final quarter. The non-departmental budget is at 93% of the amended budget, and the primary reason for that is that the overall health insurance costs for general and public safety retirees are running more than budget. After meetings with the city's healthcare consultants, the hopes are that the final actual cost will be near budget or slightly above the budget, but finance will continue to monitor the actual cost and bring forth amendments as needed. But overall, the general fund operations are in line with the annual budget, and the projected fund balance remains at the targeted level of approximately 20% of annual expenditures.
So, Sandra, two things I wanted to just have you clarify. One is on going back on the revenue side, the ARPA federal funds. The total that we were set to receive was $3.1 million.
Yes.
And so, being that we received the 1.484, the remainder of that, we expect that to come when?
It's 12 months from when we got the first payment, and we got the first payment in September, on September, I think, 23rd of 2021. So September 23rd, 2022, we can expect to get the remainder.
And then the other question I had is on the expenditure side, but it definitely looks, and council members, I'm sure you're noticing this as well, but it definitely, our health insurance costs are really what's driving some of these overages in these departments that are over, and there aren't that many that are over.
Right.
But, so you mentioned here that in the, talking to our benefit consultant, we expect those to level off.
We do. Last year, I believe we spent like 3.9 was our budget, and I believe our budget is 4.27-ish for retiree and employees' health care.
So the pandemic ends, everybody goes to the doctor.
That is correct.
And we're seeing that now.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor, I have a question.
Please.
Thank you. This is probably for city manager. In regards to capital outlay on the proposed budget amendments, March 31st, 2022, page 155 on our packet. I see that they have the Shepherd Park restroom renovations to new fund, and then the Shepherd Park ball field renovations. I know if Councilwoman Burns was here, she would ask about that. Could you touch on that?
I'm sorry, and I'm not
I was
seeing-
getting ready to, that was my next one, 15C.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's
My-
on the next one. which is
Sorry,
the
I jumped
budget
ahead of
amendment.
you. Sorry
No,
about
that's
that.
fine.
So, you're talking about 15E, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, that's.
yes, 15E, I'm sorry.
Okay, 15E, if you wouldn't mind, maybe then we
Okay.
can circle back, Councilmember, and answer your question.
Okay, 15E is the budget, the third quarter budget amendments. And so basically, what I'm asking is that there is no change in the fund balance for the budget amendments, but the budget amendments are to increase the self-funded healthcare costs because they are greater than anticipated, and some increase in stop-loss reimbursements due to healthcare costs in excess of limits. And then we had a reduction of recreational capital outlay costs and increase in the transfer out from the new parks in rec improvement fund equal amounts to the current budgeted projects which are pending due to the current recreation study. Also, there is an increase in election reimbursement revenue from the state and local elections that we received, and an increase in water and sewer stormwater costs related to the city buildings. And then for the creation of the new Parks and Rec Improvement Fund to account for the currently budgeted and future recreation projects. So basically, the projects that were in the general fund, we are moving to the recreation, Parks and Recreation Improvement Fund for the things that are in the current year. But you notice that when we had the budget session, we had already had the Parks and Recs Fund set up for the remainder of those projects that will be carried out in the 22, 23, 23, 24, and 24, 25 years. So these budget amendments are just for this current budget year, in acknowledging that as of March 31st, there was some overages, the reason for the overages and what we're trying to increase that to. And then on the next agenda, I will be coming, which is the next council meeting, I believe it's the 20th, we will be coming with the fourth quarter and the final budget amendments for this current fiscal year. And then also for the internal service fund, the motor pool fund, we're going to be purchasing the new fire ladder truck. So we will have to increase the motor pool purchase for that, and the general and the expenditure is going to be funded by the general fund contributions in the current year and prior year, which was part of the fund balance.
So we need a motion for this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a motion approving the budget amendment 2022-3 for period ending 3/31/22?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Discussion. Questions? Councilmember Radner?
Yeah, obviously there's, it's been a weird year. But all these things that we're dealing with right now, we're taking into consideration in next year's budget, right?
Yes.
This is this year's budget, but then the next.
No, I know,
yeah.
but what I'm saying is all these.
Oh, before the
all these
project will
variables
be-
that we now know about.
Yeah.
We've already taken it into consideration.
Yes.
In determining next year's budget.
In the capital improvements, yes.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Radner?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's,
Okay, we are on to
F.
15F, and I am going to have our city engineer, Kara Christomer, join me at the podium, please. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, and City Manager. We have a request for payment for OHM advisors for the project for Safe Routes to School for the construction engineering for that project. OHM requested a change order of $7,000 extra to cover some of the additional work needed for construction engineering. The extra work included data entry into Fieldbook, which is a software program that the city does not have, delays in shipping the traffic signal equipment that added extra inspection days for their inspectors, as well as extra sub-consultant time on site for concrete sampling and testing. We recommend that the invoice for OHM advisors in the above amount be approved for the total project amount of $87,975.
Was that 89,000?
$89,975.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this payment request and change order?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem. Discussion or questions? You've already explained why the change order, correct?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes. Councilmember Radner.
Where was this work done?
I'm sorry?
Where in Oak Park was this work done?
This was the pedestrian crossing. Primarily, the overage was due to the pedestrian crossing at 10 Mile between Church and Greenfield.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Just any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, 15G, Kara?
Yes, the Oakland County Board of Commissioners approved our application for funding under the 2022 Local Road Improvement Program, or LRIP. Poor conditions on our roads create an impediment to the economic development of our community and diminish the excellent quality of life our residents expect. They created this matching fund program to assist municipalities by offering limited funds targeted to road maintenance and/or improvement projects on roadways. The City of Oak Park applied for these funds to use as part of the 9-mile road improvement project M740 between Cloverlawn Avenue and Pinecrest Avenue. As part of the grant, the City of Oak Park agrees to fund non-eligible costs such as administrative coordination, permit fees, preliminary engineering, right-of-way acquisition, and construction engineering services related to the implementation of the 9-mile road project. We were awarded matching reimbursement funds in the amount of $69,871 as part of the program matching funds. We recommend that the City Council approve the attached resolution of support for the matching fund program.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Is there discussion or questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So can you detail the project a little bit, what they're going to be doing? along
Sure.
the mile?
So this project is, we had talked about it a little bit with the construction engineering at the last meeting for OHM's work. But between Cloverlawn Avenue and then all the way into Ferndale, we're going to be milling the existing asphalt off the road and replacing it with new asphalt, as well as doing some concrete repair work. And once they mill the asphalt, they will look at the underlying concrete and repair any concrete that needs repairing at that point. We also intend to install some sort of barricade for the bike lanes on 9 Mile in those areas. We have not determined exactly what style we're looking at.
Great. Good news.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
So we have, any further questions about this local road improvement matching fund program? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Okay, 15H, I'd like to ask our Director of the Department of Public Works, Dave DeCoster, and Councilmember Radner, this gets back to your point. These are strange times, and this is a perfect example.
Thank you. Good evening again. The Public Works Department is requesting authorization to purchase the following vehicles from the state of Michigan and Rochester Hills pre-bid contracts for the fiscal year 2022-23 budget year. These vehicles are a much-needed addition to our fleet. Our current tandem axle dump is in disrepair and will be taken out of service soon. The lead time for these dumps is approximately 15 to 18 months, and approving this advanced purchase of these vehicles would allow us to take delivery sooner as well as lock in the current pricing. The vehicles for approval tonight are a 2024 Freightliner single axle dump truck, a 2024 tandem axle dump truck, and a John Deere backhoe. The pricing for the single axle Freightliner has come in slightly above budget. However, there is funding available in the major and local streets to cover the additional overage. The purchase of the tandem axle dump will require a budget amendment to move water and sewer funding ahead from the fiscal year 2023-24 budget year. It is recommended to allow the Finance Department to form a budget amendment to move the budgeted water sewer funding, which is $240,000, in fiscal year 23-24 to 22-23, which is July 1. This is for the 2024 tandem axle. It is further recommended that City Council approve the Public Works Department to participate in the State of Michigan and Rochester Hills pre-bid contracts for these fiscal year 22-23 vehicle purchases totaling $556,994.13.
Okay, so we need a motion to authorize the purchase of these three vehicles
As well as the budget amendment, please.
and a budget amendment.
Correct.
So moved.
Okay, Solomon Radner, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So this is, you have to spend money ahead of time to save money.
Correct.
Correct.
Not only that, if we wait another year, these prices you can guarantee are gonna shoot up.
Right, right.
Correct.
Can I, Madam Mayor, Dave, if we order these now, we'll take delivery of these about when?
I
do we
would
expect?
estimate November of 2023.
So,
We have one on order from last July that we haven't gotten yet. We don't have a production date yet.
Planning ahead. Good. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Unanimously approved, thank you.
Thank you.
Director DeCoster, 15I as well, please.
Thank you. In November 2021, the City of Oak Park was awarded a $436,347 drinking water asset management grant for the work associated with our water system. A portion of this grant is to collect the remaining water assets throughout the community. Attached is a proposal from OHM Advisors to provide GPS and GIS services for this project. The proposal will cover data collection, application development, training, and support to assist in the successful completion of this project. This project is 100% funded by the DWAM grant. It is recommended the City Council approve the attached proposal from OHM Advisors to provide GPS and GIS services for the hourly not-to-exceed price of $240,000 upon review of the City Attorney's Office. These project expenditures will be 100% reimbursed through the DWAM grant, and there is also $250,000 budgeted in the fiscal year 22-23 budget for this work in the Water and Sewer Fund.
Okay, first a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitehead. In little words, can you explain what this grant is paying for?
Sure. So OHM Advisors is going to go out in the field and collect the remaining amount of our water assets. So the gate wells that you see around town, our fire hydrants, our water stop boxes, they're going to collect them with their GPS equipment. In doing so, they'll also add attributes to them, the color of the hydrant, the condition of the hydrant, the year of the hydrant. And then After that's completed, they'll put them all into a database, which is something that our staff can reference and use for maintenance and work orders.
Wonderful. Thank
And
you.
of course, you missed the most important thing. This costs us absolutely nothing.
Correct.
Our favorite kind of vote.
Yeah, that's the best kind of thing.
Yes. That's cute. So, we have a motion and a second, and we're ready for a vote. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Radner?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Director Kimberly Maroney, 15J, please.
Yes, thank you. As you know, we have done the tax foreclosure process for many years in the city of Oak Park. We haven't done it for the last few years because of COVID, and they were not foreclosing on any properties. This year, we did our RFQ process again, and we selected a bidder that we've worked with actually since the inception, FPJ Investments. Jim Budziak is here in the audience today. He's done a great job for the community. It's helped us raise our property values and attract new residents into the community. And he's also been a very strong supporter of the community by donating to some of our Parks and Rec programs, and is one of our sponsors again this year for Summerfest. So we recommend that you approve him as our bidder for the tax foreclosure properties. We anticipated 6 to 7 properties. They did send an updated list yesterday, and there's only 3 or 4 on there. So not as many as we had anticipated, because the original list had over 200 on it.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Can we have the gentleman speak briefly?
Presentation, right?
For, before we started this program, there would be houses that were foreclosed, and companies in China or California would buy 50 places in Oak Park, slap a coat of paint on them, rent them out for $1,000 a month. And they didn't care what happened to our city or our houses. So we started this program, at which time my son was the Oakland County Treasurer. He said, be very careful, because some of these companies are scams, and they don't deliver what they promise, and they don't fix up the houses, and they don't fix them in a certain amount of time, and be very careful. So when we hired this gentleman, our building department was on him like a coat of paint. If they went out Tuesday, they also went out Wednesday and went out Thursday and Friday to see what he was doing. And they reported back the highest kudos. That first they fixed the outside so that the neighbors were not upset with the worst house on the block. Fixed the outside first so that the neighbors were relieved, and then put significant amount of money into the inside to make the house really worth more money, improve the value of the house, improve the value of the houses in the neighborhood. So that's just a little background before we.
Yep. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and city employees. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the kind words. As the mayor mentioned, when we first started this program, probably 6-7 years ago, investors were buying these properties. They were turning them into rental properties on a large scale. Across many communities, we saw it's typically 90% of the properties purchased would be converted to rentals. So we came up with a concept of purchasing the homes, guaranteeing a certain level of renovation, and guaranteeing that we would sell them to owner occupants. And here we are, 6 or 7 years later, and it's been a very rewarding experience to work in this community. We've actually built some new construction houses on some of the vacant lots acquired through the tax sale. And it's been, very good to work with the folks in the building department. They're, it's always good to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, because it makes it easier when everybody's on the same page and we know what needs to be done. So they've been great to work with. Kim's been great to work with, and it's just been a pleasure working with the city and watching the city grow over, the last 6 or 7 years. And when I first came here and seeing all the changes in the parks and the new businesses and the new restaurants, and it's been a lot of progress here. So it's been fun.
The other thing is, some of these companies wanted to cherry pick, only to pick the the houses that were in the best shape and not to pick the ones that were in bad shape. But that part of the contract was you have to take everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and fix them all up. Tell us one you're particularly proud of.
Well, even last year, the one, I forget what street it was, but that, they, honestly, the bulk of them are all pretty bad, because a lot of times what happens is these houses have been vacant, right? Folks pass away, for whatever reason, the heirs are not interested in the home, it sits vacant for a number of years. By the time we get it, there's broken water pipes, there's mold, there's challenging issues in a lot of the homes. So there's been quite a few homes, honestly, through the last few years that needed a significant level of renovation. I mean, I think our biggest renovation was close to $100,000.
Put $100,000 into
not
a
a
house.
very big house. It's not like it's a 3,000 square foot house. It's, it's a 1,200, 1,300 square foot house, so that's a lot of money to put into it. But it's honestly, the most rewarding part is at the end when you sell it to an owner occupant and you see a family move in. That's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
Saving the neighborhood. Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thank you so very much for
thank you.
for doing such a good job and impressing our building department.
All right, thank you.
We just say we need a resolution. Still need a motion. Need a motion.
Motion. Where are we now? This is to approve the recommendation and to select FPJ Investment Limited as the selected bidder as the developer for the 2022 tax foreclosures. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Any further questions or comments, or did we talk your ear off?
I do just have one question. The properties that you've been fixing up, you actually have been selling them? They've been selling. You're not just sitting on a whole bunch of them that are for sale.
No, everything, it's part of the contract. They have to be sold to owner occupants.
That's awesome.
Within a certain amount of time.
Okay, I just wanted, yeah, okay. I know that you have little control over whether or not they actually, okay. Awesome. Great work.
And this goes out for bid. Anybody could bid on them.
So they're for sale? They're for sale?
Well, no, this project,
For the process you're talking, right, Mayor?
The tax foreclosure project, that goes out for bid, so that if there's other companies that are going to do better or give us a better offer, we always look at that every year.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So we do have pictures of before and after the renovations, and you guys have done a great job. They look beautiful. How are these houses valued? I mean, how do we sell them?
We don't sell them. They have the real estate company as well as part of their business plan. So they actually list them on the MLS like any other property would be listed for sale. So you look at all the market values within the neighborhood and comps.
So I'm looking at one on Ridgedale. It says before new house, 6,400. After, so that's what was put in, or what does that refer to?
The before 6,400 is what he paid to purchase it in the tax foreclosure process.
Are you looking at the SED? Because I remember that one.
Yeah.
It was the SED.
Yeah.
So that was a vacant lot, and that's why the
Oh,
SED
gotcha.
was so low, it was 6,400 because it was a vacant lot. And then we built a new home on that, and I don't recall off the top of my head what it sold for, but I think it was close to 250,000.
Wow.
And there's no Headley on that?
Nope.
No, not the first year.
That's a new build, right.
All right, so, any further questions? I don't think we got a vote yet, right? No. Okay, ready to vote?
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. We are delighted. Couldn't be happier having residents who are going to stay move into our houses and not, renters are wonderful sometimes, but they're not as committed to the city. And so having it go to an owner is better for all of us who live here. Thank you.
Okay, last but not least, 15K, I'd like to ask our Communications Director, Courtney Flynn, to join me at the podium, please.
Good evening. Tonight we have the community announcements for the month of June and a little further. So first we will start off with Parks and Recreation, the theater trips. This month they have Meadowbrook Lunch and Theater Trip. A Walk with Patsy Cline is sold out. They also have Ain't Too Proud to Beg, The Life and Times of the Temptations, which is for August 14th, but these events sell out quick. So if you're interested, please call the Recreation office. On June 22nd, they have a lunch trip to Three Cats Cafe with several boutique shopping stops occurring afterwards, and the deadline to register for that is June 16th or until sold out. And as we all know, Summer Blast is coming up beginning June 17th on the Community Center grounds. You can visit our website or scan the QR code, which we have on our various forms of communications, our flyers, pamphlets, social media and whatnot, to purchase a $20 wristbands that allows for you to ride all day. There will also be food concessions, a mini pub, music, and fun for all that weekend. Also on June 19th, along with Summer Blast, we have the Juneteenth Celebration, which begins at 12:30. The Juneteenth ceremony begins at 12:30 that day. But earlier in the morning at 9:45 to 11 a.m., we will be having a mile walk in David Shepherd Park. And then we will also have a health fair center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Over in the community center parking lot that will feature the Wayne Health Mobile Unit along with other care services. So for those who are interested, we have more information available on the website. And then for Summer Blast, there are still volunteers needed. So if you're interested, please contact the Recreation Department. And then shortly following Summer Blast, we have the 4th of July event, which is back for the first time since the pandemic. We will have the Mayor's 5K Fun Run and Walk, the Parade and Fun Fest. The 5K starts at 8 a.m. Advanced registration is $20 or $25 the day of. The parade will start at 11 a.m. and conclude at about noon near Shelter 1. And then Fun Fest runs from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Volunteers are also needed for that. So for anyone who is interested, please call the Recreation Department. We also have Adult Co-ed Kickball, where we are registering teams for our Friday Night League. That starts June 10th, so this Friday. Fall Soccer starts August 27th, and that's Saturdays and some weeknights. This is a co-ed soccer league for various ages. So if you're interested, please call the Recreation Department. And then, as City Manager Tungate mentioned, we are pushing the pool opening back a little bit because we are in need of lifeguards. So anyone who is interested or knows lifeguards, please send them our way. And then we are also enrolling for our summer camp. Moving on to the library, the summer reading program starts June 12th and goes through August 12th. We have the Friends of the Library book sale on June 23rd through the 28th. And then a world music concert July 10th at 3 p.m., which will feature Oak Park native Sean Blackman. And this is sponsored by the Michigan Humanities Council and National Endowment for Arts. And then the library will also be offering free tutoring services throughout the summer as well. We have Haul Your Own Junk Away Day on June 10th, 11th, and 12th. The electronic recycling and paper shredding event on June 12th. The flower exchange is June 26th, and then due to the 4th of July holiday, we will have another trash delay on July 7th and 8th. And then finally, we have our State of the City, which is also returning on June 28th, and this year it will be outside. It is going to be on the 9 Mile Linear Park, so it'll be in conjunction with our kickoff for our linear park as well. And we're asking people to start to come out around 4:30 to explore the park and see what various entertainment and activities we have out there. And then the actual State of the City will begin at 6:30 on the Connector Park right off of the linear park. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wonder, before call to the audience, could you give us just an update on what is going to happen by August 1st that's going to make this different and better for our garbage pickup?
Well, so this was part of our discussion the other day, so it's a little bit early to say this, but we are in discussions with GFL and SACRA about the possibility of going to a 5-day-a-week garbage pickup. So we would literally section the city off into 5 areas that would have their own days, and other communities around us have done this, and it has worked out better in terms of, less missed pickups, etc. Dedicated staff in our city, committed to our city. So we're in discussions currently to do that. I'm going to be coming back to City Council, I believe June 20th, Dave, is the day we're looking at, to make a more formal announcement on that. But, I think the big thing is we realize that it is a major change. People are very used to the Thursday, Friday pickups. And if and when we do that, as of the next council meeting, we'll make sure that our communication plan runs in accordance with that. So,
Wonderful, wonderful. I know a lot of the people who are here to talk are here to give us their opinion of the garbage pickup. So we're on call to the audience.
Madam Mayor, just one,
Yes.
and also in those discussions, City Manager, we talked about, too, could you touch on that if they're out here 5 days, the thinking is that if they do miss a place, they're already are able to be out here. They're not somewhere like Livonia or somewhere far away. Is that correct?
Exactly. And again, the hope that we have, and again, this has worked in other communities that have done similar setup, is that, it's the same staff members committed to our city. So their level of acclimation to our community and the nuance in our community is much, much higher. So we have less missed pickups. But yeah, they're here 5 days a week in one section of the city or another, and therefore it's less likely that they'll miss, like we have now where you're, waiting days.
Right. And I think right now it could be the person who's supposed to do your area doesn't come, so somebody who is working in Hazel Park comes and does an extra evening. I think they were picking up my garbage at 9:15 one night, and I ran out to the guy, and I said, it's dark. You can't even see the garbage. He said, well, the guy didn't come in, and so I took this extra, crew thing. So we are asking for your patience until August 1st, when this should be rolled out.
Well, we think so, and I just wanted to add too, since we're talking about it, the representative from GFL, I understand, is on social media, Friends of Oak Park Neighbors, I believe, and I understand and while that may seem like not much, I understand he is relating back to residents and trying to deal with their concerns. Another thing, and again, way too early, wasn't prepared to talk about this, but the other thing that we're talking to them about is the possibility of having a dedicated customer service number solely for the city of Oak Park. So our residents aren't put in the queue with all the other residents from all the other cities, that our residents are literally getting priority over others.
City Manager Tunkey, just one comment too. I've noticed that when they don't pick up on time, it just means that garbage is out there longer and there's more opportunity for it to blown around. Some people put bags directly on the curb, animals get them, etc. I've noticed a lot more litter in the city.
Yeah.
And other residents have said the same, so I would say, talking to GFL, I don't know how you put it, but I would say we've noticed an accumulation of trash on the streets.
Well, if I could just say, I do want to give some credit to our Director of Public Works, Dave DeCoster. He was very firm with them yesterday, as was I, in addressing those situations. And yeah, the proliferation of trash around our community, due in large part to just cans sitting out there for a longer period than normal, is a huge issue. So, I think the bigger point is just for all of our residents to know this is not something we're taking lightly. It's completely unacceptable. We pay a vendor hired through SACRA to provide a service for us, and our expectation is that they're going to meet the commitments of that contract. And when they don't, we're going to hold them accountable, as we did just recently. So we'll continue to do that no matter what setup we go to or whatever else.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Everyone is on the same page with that this is not acceptable the way it's been. Where are we now? Call to the audience. Yes, please come up, give us your name and address. Thank you for coming. Give us your name and address.
I just have to answer my question about the waste pickup. I'm still dissatisfied with that. Do we have a contract with DFL? Okay. Do we have a contract with GFL? And how long?
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to answer that, but if you'd like me to.
Yes, please.
I don't know how long. I know, yes, 2 years, 5,
7.
7 years.
7.
I don't know. How long? Just say it. Till 2027. And yes, we do have a contract with GFL, but it's through SACRA, which is several communities in this area are through as well.
Okay, I just hope they have better performance going forward. What's going on with the Great Lakes Water Authority and Highland Park issue? How are they addressing that? How the city addressing that?
Would you like me to?
Please, yeah.
So we don't yet know what that is ultimately going to look like. I'm sure you've noted in the media just recently that they have the GLWA has agreed to not pass on that debt to the communities. So how that's going to affect us here in Oak Park directly, we don't yet know. Hopefully, it affects us in terms of a cost savings.
Yeah, okay. And my third question, yard clippings or waste being blown into the street, doesn't that fill up our drains, cause more problems?
Yes.
Is there ordinance against people doing that?
Yes. Yeah, we don't want people to do that because absolutely it clogs up the drains, absolutely.
Why isn't it being enforced?
It hopefully is.
No,
But
I cut my grass, I clean my street up also.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of contractors who are working here blowing stuff to the street and leave it. That's why I got out here on Oak Park Boulevard a couple of nights ago. He did, left it right in the street.
Yeah. Not supposed
And
to
I
be
know that
doing
costs us money by cleaning the drains out, right?
It absolutely does, yep.
Okay.
And you're right, you're not supposed to be doing that. So
I'd like to see that enforced then. Okay.
Should he report it to someone?
you can anonymously report those things to
Okay. You
technical
can?
employment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Give us your name and address. Thank you.
I'm Dana Braxton. I'm at 21600 Kipling. So I just have a few questions. I had a lot of people that wanted to come tonight, but they couldn't. A lot of them had COVID. So, but they wanted to participate. They had issues they wanted to talk about. And we were talking about having a Zoom so that they can actually participate. Is that something that's been discussed prior to?
I think it is illegal at this point. The state of Michigan allowed us to have Zoom meetings during COVID, and then they ended that special permission.
Is that just
It's
for
the
this
Open
meeting?
Meetings Act that demands that we meet in person, and that was overridden for a time because of COVID, but that has ended. That's why we're back to meeting in person. We would love to do Zoom. We found it.
No, I mean, you all can still be here, but we can't have participation from people from outside. And that's just for this meeting, as far as the city council. Because we've had other meetings, like the parks meetings, that we did in Zoom, and they participated. I was there. The open house. So, yeah,
Oh,
we
the
did.
open houses.
So, yeah,
Oh,
we
the
did.
open house. Oh, open house.
Yeah, so I'm saying that's something
Okay.
different. Is
That's
that what
something
you're
different,
saying?
yeah. If it's an official meeting of a city or a city board or commission, it now cannot be, and a lot of the city attorneys tried to get some flexibility because people really enjoyed meeting by Zoom.
Right.
And they weren't having it.
Okay.
In Lansing, so.
With the possible, I know we're on.
So we would love to, but we're not allowed to.
Right, I know we're on YouTube, and people are commenting like right now on YouTube. Is there some way that, I know we have a gentleman that usually sits back there, maybe he can relate, we can't even do that, relay the questions that they had? No? Okay. You're not help working with me, Ebony, come on.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, it's the law. The Open Meetings Act requires that the public body conducts business at an open meeting, so that's the only way, unfortunately, at this time, that they can participate.
Gotcha.
But I would strongly encourage you to write your legislator, because they have the power to change it.
Gotcha.
They did it for a period of time.
Okay, well, I had to bring it up. So, second question is about the North End construction that's gonna happen. North End is usually, during the summertime, it's like a speedway. So is there any way, it's only like, I think, a total of 2 stop signs that from Coolidge all the way to Whitmore. So is there any way we can discuss either adding stop signs and/or we really would like speed bumps? Is that something that we've discussed in that whole thing?
Kara, talk to our city engineer.
Right, I looked at, I've talked to her
at
too
the
much
end,
already.
yep.
I know she's like, I'm so, we're good. Okay, so, all right, because we got a lot of people that want to know about that. Can you discuss it to them right now or no? I don't want to call you out if you can't.
Can I?
Yes.
So I just for clarification, it's not that we don't want to go back and forth with you.
Right.
But we're also prohibited from doing that during this section. This section of the agenda is supposed to be just to listen to you, not to interact with you.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's
Okay.
going on. So unfortunately, if it's something that maybe, Kara, if we want to put something up on social media later, since a lot of people are asking about it, we can do that.
As far as what?
North End and the speed.
We can't talk about speed bumps, as you're telling me you can't talk about?
We can hear you, but
Right,
we
so-
can't, we are not supposed to interact with you.
Okay, so can you just tell me what we're supposed to do to get that to happen?
Talk to
That'll
Kara.
be afterwards.
After your turn, go to talk to her.
Okay, all right. I think you messed me up on that one. And also, I don't know if she could discuss this even. So we also had questions regarding, I know I talked to you about it on the phone, it called about trash pickup. We had a few different issues as far as when, where, and who was supposed to do it. So again, I don't know if she could discuss
Who
this
did she
now.
talk to
Because
about
we
that?
have a lot of people that are confused about how the trash is going to pick up once the construction is gone. We live on a cul-de-sac. So we had a little different, can she discuss that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So she
Thanks
can
for
do it now.
representing
'Cause there are people
everyone.
watching, and the reason is that I told them one thing, they're getting a different thing from City Hall, so I want them to all be on the same
So-
page as far as the trash and leaf pickup.
So, Kara, if you could, again, just follow up with our communication staff, and we will put information out regarding both of those items that you brought up. And thank you
Okay.
for your comments, by the way.
All right. Okay. And last question, just, again, because the people in the back were a little confused, and not saying I want anything changed, but just for clarification for us again, the gentleman discussed that he was getting bids for the properties that were foreclosed on. Are these properties that have been sitting around for a while? Could someone just explain to the whole process again? I'm not trying to take it away from it, I just wanted to know how the process goes, because I know a lot of people did want to purchase homes and things like that. And maybe I was confused, maybe you heard it wrong, it almost sounded like they were all going to him.
Unfortunately, I'm going to refer you to Director Kimberly Maroney
okay.
after the meeting as well. She'll be able to talk to you about that.
All right then, and again, so who am I speaking to about that? What's the name again? It's Kimberly? All right then, okay, all right, thank you very much.
Thanks for representing everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody else, please, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Atkins, and I do have.
Is that a live mic?
It is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a request, and the request is that I wanted to know whether there can be an additional ordinance added to City of Oak Park. And the ordinance that I was speaking about is with code enforcement. They do enforce like weeds and grass, that it can't be too high and you can't have an excessive amount of weeds. But the concern that I have is the shrub or shrubbery, and there's no limit to the height that the shrub can grow. And the experience that I'm having is that the house directly next to me, the shrub must be at least 15 feet. It's above the house, above the level of the house, and it's just a ranch house. And it's a real issue. And I did have someone to come out to give me an estimate on my shrubbery. And I have mine maintained like on a monthly basis. And so the gentleman told me that he was looking at least 20 years of shrubbery growth. That's how large the shrubbery has grown. It's so large until you cannot see the front door. And when in the back of the house, it looks like a forest. It's that large. The problem is that with the shrubbery being as it is, it gives the appearance of blight. And I had my house on the market to sell, and I had to take the house off the market because it was just No one wants to invest in property that's like that. And the concern that I have is, I just want to know if we can have an ordinance that would some way limit the height that the shrubbery can be. You know, we can't control what a person does in terms of how high they want it, but it shouldn't be to the point that it exceeds the height of the house. Anytime it's over the height of the house, that's excessive. And I just want to know whether we could have an ordinance that would enforce that to the point where you would have to keep your property to an extent where it's not blight.
I think Director Barrett, can you raise your hand?
Thank you.
Yep, he will talk to you after the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Ken Sherman, Jerome Street in Oak Park. As I speak to you, I'm waiting for my third go-by GFL since Saturday. As you know, I'm very supportive of the city of Oak Park, but as I speak to you tonight, I'm very disillusioned in the city, in my city government, and my city officials. I've listened since GFL has come to Oak Park, and I told you at that time of the numerous complaints that they had with other municipalities, and we still have them, irregardless of the reasons that we have them. I talked to the mayor Saturday night. I texted her and talked to her by phone. I spoke to Mr. DeCoster on Monday morning, and yet I'm still waiting for the rest of my trash to be picked up this evening, as are many other residents out my way. You know, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt in terms of the meeting that you have, in terms of what you're proposing to do or what GFL is proposing to do, but I'm very skeptical. This government was built on civil disobedience. 4th of July is coming up, and I'm just saying, if nothing is done, you're going to find my trash on the steps of City Hall. I'm very disillusioned with the approach that you're taking, the fact that we're allowing this to happen, and we're, you know, very nonchalant about it. I know that a number of residents have called and been by City Hall since the weekend on my block and other blocks, and you know, they were promised that the trash would be picked up. It has rained. Those brown bags have been sitting out there for 2 days soaking wet, and I'm sure when they go to pick up those bags, they're going to split apart on the street. So I really think you should take a more aggressive approach. Maybe you need to have a town hall meeting with GFL. I'm not certain, but I think what you're doing isn't getting us anywheres, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I welcome. Give us your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Gloria Slade, and I've been living in Oak Park since 1977. I've become very disillusioned with public health. I have called Public Works 3 years in a row to ask them to remove the hedges, the growing behind my fence. I put 2 fences up in Oak Park already, and I'm working on a third because the bushes are pushing up against my fence. And I've asked them 3 years in a row. And you know, the remark of, it's not, what was the word he used?
What is your address again?
14161 Greenbrier. My backyard.
Say it again.
14161.
161.
My backyard is right, it runs right into that green belt. I've made numerous complaints about that green belt. There's a coyote back there. No one can do anything about that. And this is, I mean, I've been out here 45 years, and I'm seeing help, public help, just going down the drains. And it's very disillusional, and it really is upsetting. When I finished talking to the young gentleman, and I'm not going to call his name, yesterday, I was shaken because I was so nervous. He told me it wasn't priority. So what is priority? When I back out of my driveway, I'm not running into the street. I'm running into gravel. It's just tearing apart. I don't know if any of you have gone down Cloverdale between is it Kipling? Well, it's just a short piece of Cloverdale that runs into Greenbrier. And it's a wreck. It's a total wreck. I don't know how the neighbors drive down there. There's a section that's at Gardner and Kipling. It's holes everywhere. It's all gravel now. It's not cement, it's gravel. And this stuff needs to be taken care of.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Can we get that address taken care of?
Okay.
Hi, welcome. Give us your name and address.
Yes, my name is Edward Howard. I live at 21630 Kipling. And my question is about picking up mattress. Picking up mattress. I noticed last week they didn't pick up a mattress until the next day. I was just wondering, you have to have a special someone to pick it up.
Dave? Yeah. Dave, would you raise your hand? Talk to that gentleman.
Yeah. And another question, thank you for enlarging the audience letters so we can read it as senior citizen.
You're welcome. Oh. Benjamin Round.
13001 North Middle Boulevard.
Did you get that?
Yep.
Yep.
And I've been here since 1986 also.
Newcomer, huh? Anybody else? Okay. We hear your complaints. We listen. We take down your address. We look into it. We talk to the director. We hear you. And if you're not happy, come on back. Give it to us again. First, I know a bunch of you are wearing orange today. If you notice, a lot of us are wearing orange. This is, June 4th was declared National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And there is a group called Every Town for Gun Safety to enact sensible gun laws. Some poor Republican, I think in Pennsylvania, tried to say that he would cut out all of those AK-47 weapons of war, and he had to drop out of his Republican race because they just jumped on him with both feet. That if you're a Republican, apparently you cannot be for any kind of sensible gun laws. So people, get out and vote. Your vote matters, and it makes a difference, a big difference. There's been tragic, senseless acts in Uvalde, Texas, and Buffalo, New York, and every time we turn around in the news, there's a new place. We have to responsibly regulate the media so that the spreading of hatred is stopped. We must respond to white nationalist violence attacks that are designed to start a race war. We must create safe places for children to learn, and we must create strict gun laws. People, get out and vote. To the frightened families and friends and neighbors of those who died, please know that you are not alone. There are more of us good people than bad, and we stand with you against hatred and violence. On a more fun note, the Corridor Improvement Authority has been collecting money to improve the corridor of 9 Mile, 11 Mile, and Coolidge, and there is enough for us to hire a part-time events manager. So we'd like to know from you what kind of events you think would be fun. Brainstorm, get in touch with one of us and let us know. Do you want a bike parade, a dream cruise event, hustle line dance classes, a dog costume event. What do you think? What would you like for fun? Summer Blast is Sunday, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, and Juneteenth is Father's Day, Sunday, the 19th. There will be rides and events and prizes and all kinds of fun stuff. Please come out and join us for Juneteenth. We have a new superintendent in the Oak Park schools. Mr. Angel Abdullahad from the Madison Heights superintendent was selected, and we're very optimistic about him doing a great job in Oak Park. Forgotten Harvest is opening its brand-new 78,000 square foot building on 8 Mile. They moved from their current building on Greenfield, and they're going to go from 55 million pounds a year to 70 million pounds a year. And we're delighted to have this A-rated nonprofit relocate from our city to our city. There's all kinds of need for food. The library has great entertainment. They had Stephen Mac Jones is a local artist. He's an author, and he wrote August Snow Mysteries, and his third book is The Dead of Winter. And he said, libraries are my second home where magic happens all the time. Go to your local library and support it, and read Stephen Mac Jones Mysteries. He's a local guy, makes good. He said the most fun part about writing is that his 7th grade gym teacher was a big bully, and in one of his books he wrote him killed. Offed him. So he got revenge. That was kind of cute. He reminds us to have the courage to try something new. Your dreams don't have an expiration date. They're alive and just want you to feed them. Dream on. And you too, dream on, and have a great week and a great Father's Day. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. It's good that we have citizens who are engaged and who are asking us questions and telling us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong.
Amen.
So thank you. I did want to say a word about a homicide in our city. Last week, we lost the owner of a jewelry store in Greenfield. He was 48 years old, and he was one of the 8,350 people killed by a gun this last year. I'm glad to wear orange. It does raise awareness, but we need to do a lot more than just raise awareness. We need to vote. And we need to vote for people who are going to pass sensible gun control laws once and for all. It's pretty insane. We've had 246 mass shootings between January and June of this year, just this year. We've lost too many people to gun violence, so let's say vote. Please vote. And I did want to remember Daniel Hutchinson, who was gunned down on Greenfield in Oak Park in front of his store. So, tragedy for our city. And I know we've been asked by some residents, well, what can you do about it? Well, what can you do about it? You can, of course, vote, and you can call your representatives and let them know that it's important to you. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My apologies. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I always like to hear from the residents as well, so thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for voicing your concerns and, in some cases, your displeasures. It's something that I always like to hear, particularly the bad. One thing that I would like to remind everybody, I think that during call to the audience, we should all be measured with our words, and I don't think it's wise or appropriate to make threats that may be viewed as criminal threats. I'm not talking any horrific, aggressive, violent felonies, but if anybody wants to take their garbage and drop it off at City Hall, I would certainly hope that they would be cited and or arrested. Obviously, come and complain. We're all upset about it. This past garbage day, I actually had to go outside and clean up a glass table that they broke of a neighbor of mine. And we're all sitting out there with our dustpans and brooms cleaning it up. We're all upset. Okay, so voice your concern, voice your displeasure, be upset, but I think we should all do it appropriately. Thank you all.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Echo Mayor and Mayor Pro Temp. We are wearing orange for gun violence awareness. Just last city council meeting, I think it was 3 weeks ago, because we had a holiday in between there. We had a gun violence awareness advocate come out, and not even between those 2 to 3 weeks before we decided to wear orange, was there more nonsensical killings across the nation, even one touching our home here in Oak Park. We have a public safety director who doesn't tolerate that, and we were luckily able to handle the measure appropriately for the unfortunate death that happened in our community. But we're not immune from it. You know, I'm definitely a believer in God, and I'm a believer of faith. But there's this constant cycle that we're seeing in our society right now, where the news covers a tragic, horrific event, and then it's posted all over social media, and then there's prayers and thoughts, and then we forget about it, and then it's the same cycle over and over again. And being a believer, and I know a lot of people have probably heard this saying, faith without works is dead. And so I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for prayer, but the prayer and thoughts, we need to do more than that. There has to be some type of work. There has to be some type of accountability. I teach my nephew, I teach other students that I have in my boot camps. You know, you have to put in the work to see the results. If all I do, I'm a lawyer by day, if all I do is just pray about my cases and I don't put in the work, I'm not going to win too many cases. God rewards those who work. And right now, from the national government on down, we're not putting in enough work. It's great to wear this orange, but it's nothing but symbolic without putting the work behind it to actually see some change. We have to hold everybody at the top accountable, and we have to hold everybody even at the lower level accountable, or local government. It's not acceptable for kids to have to go to school and worry about if they're not going to be able to make it home to see their family. Very, very disappointing. I've been trying to process this the past couple of weeks, but that's what I got on that. It's just disappointing on that we can't come to some type of reasonable and rational solution to this when there seems to be other nations that don't deal with this. When I went to London, the one thing that a guy told me to worry about was getting stabbed. Like, it doesn't happen over there. And it's just, you know, I'll take my chances running away from a knife, but it's just crazy. It's unfortunate. Second thing that I wanted to touch on, kind of on another somber note, was we lost kind of a pillar in our definitely a pillar in our community, Clarence Das, and he was an esteemed attorney in the profession. He actually came and last year while he was running for judge, he took time out of his busy campaign schedule, talked to my legislative boot camp students. He was 36 years old, died of cancer. His dad actually owns a doctor's office in Oak Park that is right by the Hungry Howie's there. And I felt I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we lost somebody who was a true pillar of success in the community. He left with them, I believe, his wife, who's expecting 2 children. Just very, very sad. City manager said this once to me before a year ago, but life is fragile. And so, you know, we have to, you know, just take everything not for granted. All right, on a positive note, and I'm going to end with this, you guys have been hearing me for about 6 months to talk about Juneteenth. And it's as Director Flynn had mentioned, it's going to be June 19th. We do have the Walk a Mile in My Shoes walk. That starts registration. I believe it's going to start around 9:30. The walk will end around 11. We'll have refreshments out there for everyone. We also will have a health fair from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we got some really, really great essays this year. We had some great essays last year, but we had some really great essays this year. So our high school winner will be acknowledged at the Juneteenth Jubilee celebration, which is from 12:30 to 1:30. They'll be acknowledged, and they also will receive a $1,000 scholarship. Our middle school winner, who we will name that day, they are going to receive a $500 scholarship. And then our elementary school student, who is the winner, he's going to receive a Chromebook, he or she. And so we're really excited to bring those students out who are doing positive things in the community, taking time out of their day from all the other homework they have to do an essay or do a flag contest for Juneteenth. We have 7 great local community fathers and grandfathers that we'll be also recognizing in the city. There'll be different elected officials. And then the opener I'm really excited about is Southfield Jazz Orchestra. So they'll be hitting the stage a little after 12. The program actually takes underway at 12:30. And we're really, really excited, the Juneteenth committee is, with the presentation that we've put on. So just to sum, hang in there, everybody. I know it's tough, crazy times. We do hear our residents. When I first got on this council, I think it was Councilman Solomon who said, compliments make us happy, but complaints make us better. That's what we're here for. So with that, I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned. Wait a minute, what's the guy?